Right, hello everybody, this is Dave the Rave, roving the rock and beyond in this case, because I'm on the ferry with Eilidh, my daughter. And it's quite noisy because we're up on the top deck and we're right beside where the funnel is, which is going to get noisier in a minute once the boat starts moving. And it's 8:15 in the morning. So it's just getting light, and I'm standing getting a view over Brodick just now. It's kind of misty. It's a grey dawn, and it's nice and still and calm. Got a good day for it. Oh, there's the engine going. Going to get an announcement now, I think. That's the Gaelic one. Yeah, so Dave the Rave, roving the rock and beyond. To infinity and beyond, as Buzz Lightyear would say. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to do a Buzz Lightyear special. And I'll just actually stand here and just take in this view for a minute, because there's a wonderful view of Brodick, and that's the boat just starting to move now. I'm looking down from the boat towards the new ferry terminal and the old one, which I'm told is going to be being taken over by the chemists, Davy the chemist. So we'll see what that ends up doing, but at least it's going to have somebody in it now. And Brodick Bay, sweeping all the way around Glasgow and round to Goat Fell, which is obscured today, and below that the castle. And it's amazing to be in the top deck, so nice and calm in November. It's actually the 1st of December, I didn't realise that. It's December! According to my watch it is. Yeah. Right, so let's go over and see Eilidh. Have a wee sit down here. Right. Okay, so this is Eilidh Black, and she's my daughter. What age are you, Eilidh? Or do you want to keep that a secret?
What age am I, father?
26?
Yeah.
Okay, she's 20. She's 26. She's younger than me, no surprise there. And Eilidh, I would say, was born in Arran, but I'm not actually sure if it's not quite right, is it?
No, I was born in Paisley, but yeah.
Bred on Arran, I suppose, is a
back here, yeah.
So does that mean that you're a local, would you say, or?
I think it means that you're a local, but people seem to think that to be like an Arranite, you have to have actually been born on Arran.
Yeah. So, I think you're a local. You've been here your whole life, apart from when you went to university. Yeah. Like, this is where you've always lived. And apart from when you went to university for a couple of years, you've been here the whole time, haven't you?
Yeah.
And you went away and you came back to Arran again, having left it.
Yeah, I think you don't really appreciate how lovely it is until you've actually been somewhere else.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I definitely appreciated it more after I've been living in the middle of Glasgow.
Yeah, that's right. Well, that's where I was brought up as well, of course. And to be honest, it seems like a foreign place now. Like, I don't think I could go back to that. I'm quite happy in Arran. I've been here for 38 years, and I just think that we're very lucky. Oh, there's the boat turning around now. If we look around here. Just sweeping around the bay. Yeah, so do you think that you're going to stay here indefinitely, pretty much?
That
Maybe.
is the plan. Like, I'll never say, like, I'll never rule something out entirely in the future, but that's definitely my plan right now, is to stay here.
Yeah, same for me. I wouldn't rule it out either, because things can change, but I do feel lucky and privileged to be here, certainly.
Yeah, it's lovely.
Yeah.
I mean, you live on a place where people come to spend their holidays, so
Yeah.
that says a lot.
Yeah. Okay, so we're going to Mainland today, and I was first working out, last time I was away was a few months ago when I went to see the same person we're going to see today, which is my stepmother, Auntie Mo. And on that was a few months ago, and also on that occasion I went to see my old house in Glasgow that I was brought up in. And I went and sat outside it, and the people came out. And in the end they invited me into the house, which was amazing, and I went and seen right round the house, which I haven't been in since I was 12. And it turned out it's the same people that have been there the whole time since we left, and they remembered all the kids that were there and showed me right round the place. What a wonderful experience. And even though they'd had the kitchen changed so that our little storeroom, as we called the grubby room, had disappeared altogether, that corner of the kitchen diner area that they had now, they still referred to as the grubby room, even though even though none of us had lived in the house since 1976.
That's a long time ago.
And they still called it the grubby room. I just couldn't believe nobody else in the world has a grubby room. So that was a wonderful surprise. I really, really was very privileged to see round that old house. It was an emotional experience, and I was Sally the Teenage Westie was with me, and I carried her right round the house as well. And I miss Sally terribly. There's no question about that. I won't go on about that, but it's a happy memory being there with Sally and seeing round that house, And that's something I didn't manage to do for my dad, because he wanted to see around his old house, and I tried to get permission. I wrote them a letter, but they never did let him do that.
Yeah, that's a shame.
That's a shame, isn't it? So this is my lesson here. Last time I went away, I saw around my old home that I was brought up in, and if anybody else gets a chance to do that, I hope you do, because what a wonderful experience it was. It really was great.
Absolutely.
Anyway, so that's the last time I was away. When was the last time you were away, Eilidh?
Me and Scott went for a day trip. This is actually quite sad.
Oh.
No, just like, me and Scott went for a day trip to Ardrossan to take photos.
You take photos of Ardrossan?
Because Scott has these old cameras that he likes to take photos of.
Oh yeah, that's right, yeah.
Yeah, so he's taken a lot of photos of Aaron, so we actually just went as foot passengers
For a
to
change.
Ardrossan so that he could take some different photos.
Oh, that's good. Well, that's alright. That's okay.
Some people might roll their eyes at that, but it was good. It was a nice change of scenery.
Well, and the time before that I was away in the mainland was with you, and we went to Hereford for a big reunion thing.
Yeah, family reunion.
And that was over a year ago, I think.
Yeah,
so
it was.
that gives an idea of how often I go away to the mainland. It's not very often. It's that once a year, once in a year.
Yeah, it was well over a year ago now.
Yeah, well there you go. So this is a big deal for me, and there's a reason for that, because I always worry when we go away to the mainland in case we get stuck, in case the car breaks down, all these things that I feel like I'm not really in control.
Well, yeah, because me and Scott have actually been to Hereford since then, and it's something like an 8-hour drive, and we did get stuck coming back because we got in a traffic jam, and that meant we missed the boat.
In fact, so did we.
We missed the last boat and got stuck overnight.
We got stuck in a big traffic jam, and we almost missed the last boat. Remember,
right.
I had to drive like a lunatic.
So it happens.
Yeah, it does. So what always worries me, I was reading on the internet last night, this fella, and he had his hat on, his woolly hat, and it came down over his ears, and this was him trying out different alcohols. I think it was homebrew. And anyway, he called it his worry hat, and everything was okay as long as he had his worry hat on, It was like a safety helmet, a woolly safety helmet, going right out over his ears, around his head. And I fancy one of them. And I've actually got my equivalent of a worry hat on, which is my Calmac bonnet, and I wear that everywhere, even when it's really warm.
You've even got your staff ID on.
Yeah, I've got that on, yes, I know. Safety,
Staff
I've got everything. And I like to wear this bonnet for some reason. It just makes me feel kind of secure, having my bonnet on my head, But anyway, so, and the thing is, so that means that I always try and make sure everything's worked out and secure before we go. So what was my message to you last night?
last night, didn't you?
Yes, because I realised that I'd got sent a new bank card, and that I didn't know which card was which, and by the time I worked it out, I ended up chopping up the card like it told me, and now I've realised I don't have a card that works because I chopped up my new card. So I've got no money whatsoever.
So that's why I'm here.
Eilidh's paying, that's why Eilidh's paying. Eilidh's paying for everything, which is good because that means I can buy a new car today. I can go mad. Christmas come early. Anyway, I'd say the wind's picking up a wee bit out here, so we'll probably go inside and then we'll finish our chat inside. Eilidh, what do you think? All right, we'll do that. Right, here we are now in what I call the doggy lounge.
Yeah, it's the pet area.
The pet area, where you can bring, well, this is the one place in the boat you can take your dogs and your pets and things. I'll just turn around, and behind me is the bar through there, and the wee shop just in there, which is actually closed just now. If I just go over here, I'm just looking at the window, still looking at Arran. Lots of white water out there. Just the white water, the boat's making itself, going past, going through the water. Everything's grey. Nothing of any colour out there whatsoever.
It's quite misty though.
Quite misty. Okay, so coming back to what I was talking about. So, yes, in the end, I've got my best laid plans, and I've ended up with no money whatsoever, and no way of having any money because I cut up my new bank card.
Yes.
Instead of the old one.
And the old one's expired.
And the old one's expired. So now I can't even buy petrol, I can't even buy gas, I can't buy food, there's nothing I can do. I can't even...
You can't even transfer me money.
No, I can't even do that.
Because you need to use your wee card reader.
You've got to put the card reader, and my card reader won't let me do it because the card's expired. So that was handy. So my plans of things going wrong, hopefully not going wrong, already have gone wrong. But anyway, so like I say, so we're going to go to car showrooms today. Spend like there's no tomorrow.
We'll have a look.
Because it's Eilidh's money. So anyway, I should say that Eilidh works at Calmac with me. And how many years have you been there roughly?
About 5, I think.
5?
Yeah.
And Eilidh is actually my boss sometimes, even though she's my daughter, because she's better at being a boss than me, I suppose. I'm just too stupid.
A relief supervisor.
Relief supervisor. There's a combination of me not wanting to be the boss and also being a bit too bonkers to be the boss, I think.
Yeah.
So I'm not the boss.
You might send a boat abroad or something if you were in charge, you know.
So yes, so she tells me what to do, and she lives in Brodick, and owns her own house, which is quite something for.
Yeah, I'm very lucky.
Somebody who lives in Arran.
Got it just the right time there, yeah.
Because they've gone crazy, the house prices, and you can't find any rentals or anywhere, so it's a neat trick. Yeah. Talking about worrying about things or making sure you're prepared, I made this flask for her. This is my work cup, massive cup, thermal cup thing that I've got, and I brought that for her, and I've got a flask over there, and wherever I go, I bring...
Always brings a flask when we go away.
Massive quantities of tea, so that I don't possibly run out. Yes, so that's something else, and I've even got sandwiches and things. I always bring food and drink, so that can't go wrong.
And also because you can't buy anything, so...
Yes, I can't buy anything, so thank goodness I brought that stuff. And you've got a camper van that you go away to the mainland in?
Yeah, just a wee small one, so I can still use it as my main car.
Yeah.
So the back seats fold down into a bed, and it's got a little fridge and a leisure battery and a hob and a sink, and it's got lights in the ceiling. Like, it's got everything you really need apart from maybe a toilet.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but I just go away with my 2 wee doggies, and it's just big enough for us.
It's a wonderful wee vehicle for going away and seeing the mainland, isn't it?
Yeah, I like to go off to the north end of the island and just wild camp with the dogs.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's quite nice.
Yeah. That's a good idea. And you've got 2 wee dogs, Theo and Casper.
Yeah, 2 small doggies.
And they're at home today.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And you recently got a motorbike.
Well, yes, a 125 scooter, so I don't know if it counts as a motorbike, but...
I think so. Yeah, I think a 50cc is a scooter. 125 will do what, 60 miles an hour or something like that?
Yeah, but like over 40 miles per hour, it does kind of like, it's not as easy for it, if that makes sense. Like, it'll do it, but you can feel like you're pushing it sort of thing. But it'll do that, but it'll be like comfortable 40 and below, I'd say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the funny story, because the day you got it, I didn't know you'd bought it.
Yeah.
And I just happened to come round and visit, and then you've got this motorbike at your door.
Yeah.
This is my motorbike. I haven't even ridden it yet ever. I've got a full bike license.
Yes.
So in fact I ended up being the first person to ride your motorbike, didn't I?
Yes, because I invited you around because I didn't want you to like talk me out of getting it, so I didn't tell you about it.
Yeah.
So I invited you around like the day I got it basically, and I was like, I've got this motorbike and you have to teach me how to use it.
And you got on the back, and we went round the block a few times with
yes, because I wasn't really getting like the balance right on my own. Like I wasn't trusting the bike enough to take off properly. So then, I sat on the back while you took it out.
Yeah.
So you took it for its first proper one.
I took it first.
And that gave me a better feel for it, and then I managed it after that.
Yeah. First time I've been on the bike in maybe a lot of years. 30
and you're actually
years.
on the insurance for it now as well.
Yeah. So I can ride it whenever I like.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. I'm not sure. I wasn't even sure if the car insurance had that anyway, but it's also on your bike insurance, so that's good.
I think it's separate for cars and bikes. Yeah.
And the other thing is, from a motorbike point of view, on Arran, having a motorbike is different from the mainland, isn't it? Because
you don't need your CBT because there's nowhere on Arran for you to do it. So as long as you're only riding it on Arran, you don't need your CBT.
CBT stands for
compulsory
basic training.
Yeah.
That's it. Which they didn't have when I passed my motorbike test anyway, but they've got that now.
Also, I believe you don't need an MOT because there's nowhere to get a bike MOT on the island.
I've heard that even with cars as well. If a vehicle is an Arran vehicle,
is that right for cars as well?
is it vans?
I don't know about that. But
No.
I
One was a motorhome.
Bikes certainly.
Oh, maybe one right. Nah, I'm trying to remember. Can't remember. Might have been a motorhome because you can't get motorhomes MOT. No.
I'm not sure.
I'm not sure. Not sure myself. But that's definitely different with the bike. So yes, you can ride indefinitely on a provisional on Arran because there's nowhere to sit your CBT test. It doesn't conk out after 2 years like it does in the mainland.
Yeah, it's the CBT that conks out after 2 years.
And that means you have to sit your test in the mainland before it conks out, or resit it. Yeah, you have to resit it.
Reset your CBT.
That's right. Okay.
Yeah.
So today we're going to see my Auntie Mo, my stepmother in Paisley, your brother, my son Michael in Bears Den, Mulgai, and Lauren and Eli as well, and also my sister Morag, who lives in a boat.
Yes, yeah.
And that's the other part of what we're going to do here. We're going to ask my sister what it's like. We're going to go and visit her in her boat and have a look around it, because I've seen it before.
I haven't seen it before.
And ask her what it'll be interesting then.
Yeah.
It's really an amazing thing. And ask her what it's like to live in a boat. All the different things you've got to take account of. How different it is to live on land, apart from anything, because you can live in different, like I've lived in 8 caravans altogether in my life, and I believe this boat is about the same footprint as a very large static caravan.
Right.
Flow area. But that's not the difference. The difference is it's on the water.
Yeah, but I think it's quite sort of like, it doesn't rock about very much, does it?
Well, I'm going to ask her. I don't know. Don't know. But it is on a kind of canal, isn't it?
It's a bit different to this.
Yeah.
Because like the crew on the Cali stay on it for 2 weeks at a time.
Yeah.
And that can be quite rocky. Like if you get seasick.
Yes.
That is not the job for you.
You're on this boat. You're on this boat in every weather, no matter what. I wouldn't fancy it.
No.
I wouldn't be very good at that. I don't think. And we're also going to see Ian McPherson, when I remember, as well.
We're seeing a lot of people.
Yeah, what's going to happen, what always happens, every time we go away, we always end up disastrously late, because we've got a loose schedule.
Yes.
And then it goes like twice as much, and we end up totally massacred.
We're always like, oh, and if we have time, we'll get some shopping.
Never get any shopping. Always end up driving like a nutcase trying to get the last boat, which wasn't even the boat we were aiming for. We were aiming for the 3:20 boat back, and it always ends up being a mad dash for the 6 o'clock.
Yes.
Because we're so disastrously
but
bad.
This time we're going to make
This
it
time's going to be
3:20.
different. This
we're
time's
going to have time for shopping today.
So yes, that's what we're planning. We're going to be hyper efficient on this occasion for the first time ever.
Yeah, believe it.
Okay, well I better sign off. I've got one more question before I do that, and that is, being that you've been on iron all your life, how many of your classmates are still here, approximately percentage wise? And that's just for an indication of how many youngsters do stay. So if you think about the ones that you know,
I'd probably say at most 20%, and I don't even think it's as much as that.
Less than 20%.
Yeah.
So more than 80% went to mainland and stayed there.
Yeah, because like almost all of you leave after high school to go to college or uni.
And an awful lot of them don't come back.
Hardly anyone comes back again. Yeah. So not many.
It's a bit like the trenches, the First World War, isn't it? I mean, I hate to say it, but it's like that, isn't it? It's like, you know, an awful lot of people went away and didn't come back, and it kind of reminds me of that, because you don't really see anybody again, you know. I was my sister turned 60 a few days ago, a few days ago, and I will be 60 in a couple of years, and that still makes me in the youngest 10% of the island, even with the bus pass.
That must be a baby then.
This is like just unheard of. It's a miracle that you're here, because there aren't many of you. You know, that's right. Because I'm a youngster for Ireland. I'm one of the youngest people. You know, because almost everybody's retired. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe you should be retired soon
Maybe. Anyway, I think that'll probably do for just now. So, so we'll go and we'll turn this back on again once we get to Mo's houseboat, or whatever she calls it, barge.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Cheers. Right, here we are at my sister Mo's boathouse, and that's what I'm calling it. I don't actually know what it's called. What's it called?
Canal boat, or well, often this particular kind of boat, because it's a bit wider than a narrow boat, is known as a fat boy.
A fat boy, like the bicycle. A Harley Davidson.
Is that a Harley Davidson?
Fat boy.
Well, there you go. This boat's not. It's a wee bit insulting, to be honest, to call it a fat boy, but that's what people do.
A fat boy boat.
Yeah.
Okay, and Morag lives here and has done for how long, would you say?
I would say 5 years.
5 years. And whenever I introduce somebody, whenever anyone does it on the telly or anything like that, they always say, "What do you do for a living?" Right? I'm not going to say that. What's your passions?
What are my passions?
Yes, see? That's better than what you do for a living.
Okay.
What you do for a living isn't you.
Okay, my passions are cycling. That would be my main passion.
And boat living.
No, that's not a passion. That's just
a
a way of
lifestyle.
life. Yeah. I would say other passion would be being outdoors. That, I know that seems quite simple, but it really makes a difference to how I feel about life. If I'm
So
outside.
much the same as me.
Huh.
And that makes sense, because you're living in an unusual place, which is
Yeah, it kind of feels a bit like camping in a way. Like, obviously it's not a tent, but like.
Well, it's actually the same as your home.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I've lived
Mine's
in eight.
sitting
I've lived
on
in 8
water.
caravans altogether, and I mean, there's something that it's just unusual, and I love the fact that this place is unusual. You know, it's all wooden panelled. I was just saying that I just love the wood. The fact that the roof's curved over the top. You've got a fire roaring away there in the corner. It's a home from home, but I actually think this is like way nicer than a house for me. I love this.
Me too. And particularly things like at the moment where you've got fuel crisis, this small fire heats the whole boat.
Yeah.
So
Well,
we
it's
don't
really
have a
warm
fuel
in here,
crisis on here.
isn't it?
Mm-hmm. That's great.
Yeah. So, where have you lived previously, would you say? So,
Okay, well, previously I've lived very kind of suburban as a child and as a young adult. And then when I had my children, I lived in a rural farm,
yeah.
which was 2 miles away from the nearest village,
Right.
which probably was what started me off in a kind of outdoor life, because before that I was definitely a sloth.
Yeah.
As were you.
So was I. Yeah, well, that's true. I was slothful. Aaron. I mean, I don't know. I was just drawn to Aaron, but it's just the whole countryside thing. Being outside, it changes you. It makes you healthy.
Yeah. And strong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, and I used to smoke and stuff like that, and I used to drink as well. And
I eat a lot of pies.
I eat a lot of pies, and I just don't do any of that stuff anymore. You know.
I nearly got pies for lunch. I thought I better not.
And I mean, talking about that, your commute to work,
Yeah.
is from this fat boat house,
That boy.
that boy, along the canal, isn't it?
It is. It is off road the whole way, which is really nice. It's about 14 miles, I think, each way. And I just cycle along by the canal the whole way.
I'd love that.
You cycle every day?
Yeah, deer and fox and quite a lot of rats.
Oh.
Yeah, you get them on the beach as well. To be fair, you get them wherever
Getting
there's
that
water
canal,
and
yeah,
stuff.
exactly.
You get rubbish and things as well.
Mm-hmm. But it's nice. It's a nice. That to me is quite a kind of like almost like a kind of form of meditation,
Yeah.
where you're just going along, not thinking, because I'm not in traffic, so I'm off road.
Yeah.
You don't have to think. You can just be. And you can just kind of, it's kind of like those wheels keep on turning and your head just kind of chills down from being at work.
And you're not timing yourself or anything like that. It just takes
Well,
as
the
long
way
as
home is more relaxing than the way in.
Oh, because you've got a deadline.
Yeah,
Yes, but that's not you like competing with yourself.
No.
It's just make sure you're not late. But
Correct.
that's fair enough. Whereas you don't have a deadline on the way back home.
That's a good way to start your day, like it put you in a good mindset, I think.
Honestly, I'm into work and I am chirpy and cheerful every day, and I would say it's only because I cycle.
Instead of
And
being
my
stressed
colleagues
in a
look at me
traffic
like, oh my god. But it is,
the
I'm
morning
sure.
person.
Yeah, exactly, which I am. That's true. But I've totally put it down to cycling. I think if I got the train every day, I would not feel.
That's 28 miles, you know. And you said that you try to make sure that you cycle more miles than you drive, isn't that right?
Yes, I'm 300 miles ahead in my car than I am in my bicycle this year, which is this is December.
That's annoying.
So I've got to try and get 300 miles done before the end of the month. Plus, if I do any driving, I've got to add
It's
that
minusing off.
Yeah, exactly. It's not good. Or it's adding on the number of miles I have to do in the bike. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. I'm not sure. I did 290 miles last month, which isn't that much, but for November it was rubbish weather.
The fact is, you've still got 290 miles of exercise in your body, and that's 10 miles a day.
That's a lot.
That is a lot.
It's a lot more than
That's
I
going to
do.
keep you fit. That's going to keep you fit, especially when you've got the wind for half of it against you.
Yeah, well, I mean, to be honest, I'm working from home most of the time now, so those miles are miles I have to do just as part of everyday life rather than cycling to work. Really makes a difference because it just plops those miles on. Yeah, exactly, without even thinking.
Yeah, I do the same thing. I cycle from Whiting Bay around Kildonan and around Lamash. I did that last night to the end of Cloughlan's and back.
From where to where?
From Whiting Bay. The base is left or right, you know, you can go to Lamash or Kildonan, but both of them end up being about 10 miles, and that just means that I've got some exercise, and usually it's kind of hilly as well for me. So.
Yeah, no, I normally avoid hills. Canals don't have hills.
No, that's true. But that's good. That's nice. But it's just all beautiful.
Yeah.
So, what made you decide not to live in a house and to live in a boat? How did you decide that?
Okay. There were a few reasons for doing this. Number one reason was because I am drawn to an outside life, and I used to, before I lived on the boat, I used to drive to here and cycle to work along the canal. For a number of years before I actually bought the boat, so I could kind of see the boats, and I thought that looks quite interesting.
Look amazing.
I knew that there would probably be a community feel.
Which there is. You were right about that.
To be honest, it's way better than I thought.
You've got next door neighbours, all boats lined up in a wee community, aren't we?
There are 15 boats that people live on here, and like some are families, some are couples, some are single people. But although you're not in and out of other people's boats all the time, everybody's got the same issues. Everybody's probably similar minded because you're not really so materialistic. Because you're not,
exactly same as me.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm just not bothered about things. If there's one thing I've learned, it's just junk. It holds you back.
I agree with you. See, when I moved on here, I just felt as if everything was lifted off
Yes.
my shoulders.
Oh.
It was like a lightening of a load. It genuinely was, because it was just like all that stuff.
Do you know it's the same in the
house.
caravan? We worked out the floor area of this is about the same as
Yeah.
the static caravan that I've got with the V extension on it. And you just can't have junk. Everything's got to have a purpose.
Well, all of your possessions are in my loft.
Yeah, with anything that's junk, yes,
And
that's
I've been
right.
there for like a year.
All the extra stuff.
Wait a minute! I don't have
The
a lot of good stuff.
And the thing is, the stuff that's in her loft, I've never gone back for it because
Yeah, I
it's,
know.
there's
You've
the
just
thing.
abandoned it
I'm
there.
going to have to just bin it all. But the fact is, it's just junk. The stuff that you need, it's very small amount, isn't it?
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, so that one of the reasons was kind of outside life and community, right? That kind of I had a feeling what it would be like living in the boat. But to be honest, the other reason was financial. I didn't have a great pension, so I knew I had to do something slightly different.
and you
So-
can't get a mortgage on a boat, can you?
No, you can't. Well, you can get a loan.
Get a mortgage?
Yeah, you
Oh,
can.
loan.
Yeah, you can. You can get a boat buying loan kind of thing. So. No,
Oh,
yeah,
right, so that's like a mortgage then. Well, that's quite a practical proposition.
Yeah. Although when you're doing it, the idea of how am I going to play this? Because I wanted to buy. I didn't want to take a mortgage, right? Because I had a house to sell. But what do you do? I had two children as well. So what do? Do you sell the house first and then you've got nowhere to live, or that kind of thing? So that's actually what I did. Sold the house, nowhere to live, moved into Niles for a wee while I was waiting to get the boat sorted. Just for a couple of months, Stevie came with me, and then he got a flat, and he went into that, and I got the boat. I did ask him if he wanted to live in the boat, but
He
he
did
seemed
not.
to be terribly interested.
I just love it. I have to say, I love this boat, and I would love to live in this boat. I just the wood panelling, as long as there's no mess, It's got everything in it that a house would have.
Yeah, it has.
I mean,
I've got,
really.
I've got 2 bedrooms,
You've-
so I'm kind of lucky. Not every boat will have that. Obviously, it depends how big it is. This being a wee bit bigger, it's got the height, so I can actually
Full
stand
height.
up and exactly.
Even I'm tall. I'm not
Yeah.
thinking
Yeah,
about
you've
it.
got
Think about
extra
it, yeah.
space there, yeah.
And I've got the width. Whereas in a narrow boat, it's a little more corridor-like. This is 10 foot wide. A narrow boat's 6.5
10
foot
foot,
wide.
right? Okay.
So
Yeah,
that
caravans are
3.5
10 foot.
feet, if you bring that back, it feels more like a tube than this does, which feels a bit more like a room, I would say.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this feels like a cosy room, yeah.
Mhm,
It's nice.
Yeah, and it's got. I mean, all the things you've got. Internet. You've got.
Well, I use cellular for my internet, so I've got a wee cellular router there, but you can get up to 70 megabits per second, so that's
Oh,
perfectly
wow.
fine. Yeah,
That's impressive.
Yeah, that
Fast.
is quite impressive actually
Yeah.
that you can do that. And now, to be
So
honest,
you can
I
do it
don't
on
need
hour.
that. So if I've had it sitting up at my window, I would get some about 70. Sitting there, it's between 20 and 30 megabits per second sitting on the unit there. Because it's a metal box, that does kind of block things a wee bit.
Main thing is you're connected though. That's the main thing.
Yeah, no problem.
You've got on open fire. You've got central heating. I can see that. From
Yeah.
the
So
radiators.
that's fired by diesel. So obviously I have diesel for my engine, and the same diesel is used to fire the central heating. If you want that. And then toilet-wise, people are always interested in toilets and boats.
Ah,
There are various different options, but I have a big tank that has to get emptied every 3 months, roughly.
right.
It's not that bad.
I
thought
know
it'd be-
exactly.
I thought it'd be more than
And it's
that.
an excuse to move. Most of these boats don't move here.
Right.
Like, they all just sit there and chill, depending on their toilet system. But if you have a tank like I have, you have to move to get it pumped out, obviously. You can't go very far here because there's a lock just half a mile up there, but at least I move backwards and forwards and get my boat pumped out. Water-wise, I've got it's nearly 700 litre tank of water, so that
A
does
lot.
at least a week.
Massive.
Showers every day.
You've got a washing machine as well.
Yeah, wash machine, yeah.
So you've really got everything.
Mhm,
There's
exactly.
nothing that's missing from here.
Connects into mains power, so that's fine. So yeah.
Yep, you've got mains electricity. You're connected up in every way.
Mhm. And I have a gas cooker, but obviously I've got a gas bottle for that. Cost wise, now obviously I haven't actually had a big bill yet for the new fuel costs, but electricity costs about £20 a month living
Ah,
in a boat.
it's nothing.
Exactly.
So that's just
So
a
let's say
connection
that
charge.
doubles to 40.
It's just
It's
lights.
not going to be the end of the world.
You're just using that for lights, aren't you?
Lights, yeah, and washing machine, I suppose,
Right.
and hair straighteners.
Okay.
Yep.
Electric blanket, that's definitely needed. Like, so when I wake up in the morning, like in January, it's like I don't heat the boat overnight, so it's 0 degrees inside.
Oh.
There's ice in the inside of the windows.
You could have a tiny wee electric heater on just on
Of course I
tick
could.
over or something.
Yeah, I just don't do that.
Just don't do it.
Yeah, I don't do it because I quite like the idea of sleeping in the cold
Yeah.
and killing all the bugs and all that kind of thing. I don't know whether that's actually
Yeah.
healthy or not. I don't know. But I have had, my tap was dripping at one point,
Right.
and I had an icicle.
Oh yeah.
That's
That's like the old days. Well, that's like when we were brought up as kids. Because
Exactly.
people worry about that, having heaters. We had ice on the inside the windows and single glazing, and we had an open fire, and it would go off at night from the lounge. It would have filled up the house, kind of thing, and then that was it. It was just nothing.
Exactly. See, I have options, right? I could put coal on that, shut it down, and it would stay toasty in the boat overnight. I could have the heating on if I wanted to as well. I do have those choices.
Yeah, you're just not so bored sometimes.
Yeah,
But it's
exactly.
roasting just now, I'll tell you that. That open fire's really
Yeah, it's
doing.
good.
That stove must be wonderful at fishing. You just get like 2 bits of wood in there, and
Yeah.
it's pumping the heat out. I can't boil it actually. That's impressive.
Hooray!
So next question I can
You've not
think.
taken your coat off yet, mind you.
I'm warm. I'm closer to the fire right enough. Do you take the boat on holiday? Is it your holiday home?
Yes, I do. In fact, I won the Lowland Canal's most travelled person last year. Yes.
Didn't know that.
I'm in a number of magazines
Wow.
because
That's
I
cool.
See
did
that?
all of the points. I started at bowling. All you can do is bowling, Glasgow, the
You went
Kelpies,
To Edinburgh.
and then through the wheel to Edinburgh.
Yeah.
That's the 4
Remember
points.
you did that.
And so I did that last year, and I was doing it anyway, but they had this competition to see who was going to be the person that did it first. In fact, I think I was the only person that did it. In fact, I was the only person that actually did all the points, kind of thing. So yes, I got a year's free navigation license for this year.
Oh,
Navigation
that's
license.
cool.
Oh, you need a
Got
license for that.
prize.
Yeah. Well, you have to have
In case
that
you
anyway.
crash into people or something.
Well, no, you just have to pay that in order for Scottish Canals to get a bit of money for people moving about.
So is that like your council tax kind of thing? basically?
Well, no,
Oh,
you
yeah,
pay,
there's
you pay
a
an
thing,
extra.
yeah.
So the main charge you get is your mooring fees, and that's kind of equivalent of that.
Right,
And then
okay.
your navigation license. So whether you move or not, you have to pay that, but it means that you have the ability to move.
Right.
So,
Mooring
Okay.
fees, no council tax.
correct.
And what I seem to remember years ago, 5 years ago when you bought this, it was about 100 grand for a boat.
Yeah.
Is that right?
For this kind of boat, yeah.
Yeah.
You can go a lot cheaper. Like some people here have got their boat for less than £10,000.
Yeah.
Less
Live on
than
it.
10,000.
Yeah.
That's really
Yeah.
But this is
But that
amazing,
would
this
be
boat.
someone who knows what they're doing. They're going to do it up. They're going to, so it'd be somebody who's, engineering minded. I
Yeah.
would say that would buy a boat like that.
I've just got this wee camera, my Kodio phone in my hand here because I'm actually just going to just walk down the corridor here just to show where we're going. There's the stove we're going past here. It's roasting, absolutely roasting. Going through a kitchen, open plan kitchen. I'm looking back towards a massive lounge with a lovely wee staircase at the end of it. It looks like something that would go up to the, well, it would go up to the wheelhouse or something like that, because that's where you'd go, isn't it?
Yeah.
So that actually is something like
That's
that.
where the tiller is, obviously, at the back deck. Yeah.
That's where the tiller is, up that wee crazy wee angled stair.
Can you imagine when I'm moving this, right? Tiller's on the back deck there. I've got 60 foot of
Yeah.
metal ahead of me.
60 foot.
60 foot.
It's like an Arctic, isn't it?
It's so scary when you first start going.
Happily, it doesn't go very fast,
Yeah.
but you can't stop it once it starts.
I've got reverse.
It goes reverse, so you can kind of stop quite quickly if you are right. Okay, I'll just shoot the camera down the corridor here, or I'll look down, and they've got all different rooms down there. Like we were saying, there's a couple of bedrooms and a bathroom, and the corridor's all wood lined. It's just beautiful, and I think that's all the rooms down there, isn't it?
Yeah.
Wasn't an extra wee room
There's
like
2 bedrooms and a bathroom.
and 2 bedrooms and a bathroom. Okay.
And a wee front deck.
So do you think, in fact we'll set the camera on this side I think, do you think there's any chance of you moving back to a house again?
I think there's no chance.
No chance.
You're happy.
I really don't want to do that.
Aw,
I love living here. I love the life I have.
that's nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I haven't asked you yet, but I'm still going to get asked this. If you're in a caravan, you feel the elements, so you can hear the rain on the roof. Have you got that here?
Same.
you're going to feel the boat moving about sometimes. I would have
Yeah,
thought.
it's quite protected here, so you don't really feel it too much. But if it's wild, you do.
So you notice it moving about, and is that a relaxing thing or a worrying thing?
No, it's relaxing.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we are protected, it's not like you're feeling as if you're in a danger.
Almost like
situation.
you're more snug and secure because
Yeah,
you know it's all wild out there and you're not.
Correct.
That's what I get. That's
Yeah.
why I've had these caravans. All these caravans.
And because you can hear the elements, I think that's why you end up being outside more, because you're so much more aware of
Yeah.
what the weather's doing.
Yeah.
When you're in a house and you don't really hear it, it's raining or not, or the wind or whatever, you just think it's a yucky day out there.
You're not aware of it.
Exactly.
It's exactly the same. In fact, I leave the window open sometimes because I live beside the sea, so I can hear the sea, can hear the wind, you can hear the rain. So you've got everything really. The only thing for me, if you're in a boat or a caravan, what happens if a lightning bolt hits it?
Well,
Have you thought of
I
that?
haven't thought of that, right? But
Wait, it's
But-
wood surrounding you.
Is
Yeah.
it made of wood? It's not
But
we all made of wood, is it?
no, it's just wood on the inside. It's metal on the outside.
okay.
But does that not mean
Maybe that
it's
means it's a
protected?
So I'm
conductor.
thinking.
You don't know for sure, do you?
No, I don't know. But I'm thinking that I'm attached to the earth via my mains cable. So I'm thinking it would probably go metal and then out.
I mean,
out wire
if
and
people
then
were getting
go
blown up in
my-
boats, you would have known about it.
Yeah.
There's an awful lot of people live in boats and also in caravans, by the way, which are they've got a little wire that goes down to the ground. You must be earthed by the fact you're in the water even. It would
True.
just boom into the water, wouldn't
Yeah,
it?
it must be. I'll need to investigate that. I genuinely don't know what happens if a boat gets struck by lightning.
It must never happen.
No, it must happen because metal. It's going to attract.
All right, we'll find out about that.
We will. Now I've got something to worry about.
Well done, Father.
Yes, the closest I can. The only other thing I would say, I have thought on occasion about living in a motorhome.
More
And-
freedom with that, obviously.
Yeah, but this is kind of like that in that way though, because it is a mobile home.
I know, but this is all of my possessions are with me, which I
Yeah.
think. So you've got a motorhome, right?
Just a small one, yeah.
Okay, but it's not your home.
No,
It probably doesn't ever feel like that, does it?
no. That's kind of like what I mean by like camping. Like, yeah, it's just like a wee temporary thing. Temporary, yeah. But it's nice.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. A motorhome for me, I think would be too small. I'll be honest.
No, it might be right. I mean, I'd like to try it, but it's almost like living on a desert island or something like that. I'd like to try it, but just for a wee while, and then probably not do it anymore.
Yeah. Okay.
Like, you know, live on the Faroes, or not even Faroes, somewhere like St Kilda even, or something like that. But then, you know, go back to normal.
Okay, so you would keep your house.
Yeah, well maybe. I don't know.
Or
I
you
just,
keep
I
a
kind of
caravan.
fancy it. I fancy having no fixed abode, so moving and having a different view. But it's to do with being outside. You can, you know,
Yeah.
you're more connected.
Yeah.
And it's the same in a motorhome, same in a caravan, same with anything that's not a house. So I get this. I just love this place. I love the curved ceiling and the wood. Hope you never change it. Hope you never paint it. Don't paint it. Because that's the thing.
Well, I was thinking
No,
about
you're
that.
now you're not. Because that's what makes it for me. That's what makes it. You know, we had a house, Spring Bank, and it had all the doors were all the original wood and the skirtings and everything. I loved that. The next person that got it after has painted everything, so that's it undone for
Yeah,
me.
okay.
It's you know, so I just love it. I love the wood paneling in here. I think it's amazing.
That is marine ply. It's not even like that thick. It's quite thin. But
Just
it does.
looks
Yeah,
great.
yeah, it looks okay. It does. I think it's aged a wee bit, so it looks a bit, it looks a bit toned down. I think. I don't know.
So the last question, the only other thing I was going to think.
Yeah.
Is it possible for you to think about living in this boat but somewhere else?
Yes. I can't do that just now because I need to go to work. But when I stop working, I could go and live
You
in
could
Edinburgh
choose.
for a period of time. The thing is, I love living in Bowling. Okay,
Yeah.
the people here, the location,
It's
how
amazing.
handy it is. I love that. So I think probably if I were to move it elsewhere, I would probably still keep my berth here. and then you know, like well,
Just travel around, come back again.
yeah.
Got a
Right, so I mean,
base.
like last year I was away for 2 months. The year before I was away for 3 months.
Yeah.
On the boat.
Nice change.
Even still, right, even though I'm moving with my home, it still felt like coming back here was coming home.
Yeah. Because you know everybody, because it's
Yeah, and you
from
know where the
somewhere.
shops are, and you know where to get a gas bottle, and you know, I
Yeah.
suppose there's those things as well, you know.
Yeah.
And family, you know, obviously there's a bit of family around here as well, so
Yeah.
I guess that's kind of part of it.
Okay, so this is probably a base even if you go somewhere else.
Yeah.
Like a holiday home somewhere else, yeah.
Yeah, that's it. So that will conclude what we've been talking about. So the only thing that you've got left to do is find out if it's possible for you to get lightning to death in your fat boy.
Thanks.
Right, there we go. Okay, so it's goodbye from me, and it's goodbye from Mo, and it's goodbye from Eilidh. Dave the Rave, roving the rock to and beyond, to infinity and beyond,
Oh my gosh.
is out, over and out.